Funny, when everybody heard that I was going to come talk to you guys, everybody said, well, what are you going to say? I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to say. I mean, these guys are already successful guys. Like, they're already on top. They're here. They're the Lakers. So then I figured, well, really the two things I want to say are, you got to be the hardest workers in the room. And don't put the opportunity out. I grew up here in Hawaii with my family, where we struggled, man, like a lot of you guys out there, struggled to pay the rent, hustled, doing everything we could to get by. You know you're getting your ass kicked when your rent is due by the week. We had a weekly rent. We couldn't even afford that. We eventually got kicked off the island. We got evicted. But what I want to tell you guys is, if you're going through some hard times, you got to hold on to that fundamental quality of faith and hard work, because on the other side of those hard times is something better, is a better life. You know, this life here, this was never my dream. My dream was, I just didn't want to be evicted anymore. So hold on to faith, keep working hard.
When I was 15, my dad was wrestling in Nashville, Tennessee. I moved with him, and when my mom finally arrived in Nashville, she had just driven all the way across country from California, and I knew that my parents were going through some really tough times in terms of their marriage, and that was a tough day. I'll never forget it. It was probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We were at a restaurant, the three of us, and they got into it. They got into a very big fight, not physical, but just really loud arguing. And my dad had a car at that time, and so they got into that car. My dad was driving, my mom was in the passenger seat, and I get in the car that my mom just drove, the family car, and I start driving it. I already had my license at that time at 15. And we're driving down I-65. I-65 is a major interstate that runs through Tennessee. And I'm watching them drive in front of me, and their car starts swerving, and I can clearly see that they are arguing.
So, and I'm sure you guys all have your processes, and again, I'm going to tell you what's worked for me. So before a big movie comes out, before, back in the days when I was wrestling with WWE, WrestleMania match, anything big that would happen, I would always take a moment, and I just remind myself, all right, I was evicted when I was 14. We were kicked off the island. We couldn't live in Hawaii. Had no place to live. A lot of shit happened. Then when I moved to Nashville, I was arrested multiple times by the time I was 16 years old. Like, I remember that. If I were playing on this team, which my skills are, what's that term called? So I would play. But before I lace up, before I get into court, before I play in those big games, before I go to the Staples Center, where history, those are historic walls there at the Staples Center. I would remember that. It allows me then to be present in the moment and understand the shit that I have around me right now. This is the shit that I dreamed of when I was a kid. I am here.
And in the gravel road, my mom gets out of the car, and when she got out of the car, I'll never forget it, she had a glazed look over her eyes that I had never seen before. And she walks right into the middle of I-65 and continues to walk down into oncoming traffic. And my heart stopped. Horns were blowing, and cars were swerving out of the way. 18-wheelers were swerving out of the way. And I got out of the car, and I grabbed her and wrestled her over to the side of the road. And I don't remember what I said to her. I remember she didn't say a thing. And in that moment, one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned was how precious life is, and how in an instant it can all go away. Changed me. After about a month and a half of staying in that little apartment and cleaning, I got a phone call from the head coach of the team who cut me, the head coach of the Calgary Stampeders. He called me and he said, "Hey, I know we cut you, but I'd like you to come back." I said, "Okay, I appreciate that, coach. Thank you very much. I'll think about it." And he said, "Okay, great." I hung up the phone, and my dad said, "You're gonna do it, right?" I said, "No, I don't think so. I think I'm done with that." And he goes, "What?" I said, "My gut tells me I'm done." He said, "What are you gonna do?" took a deep breath. I said, I'd like to get into the business. He said, what business? I said, the wrestling business. He said, you are throwing it all away. It is the worst mistake you will ever make. He said, you're ruining your career. I said, maybe I'll be no good. But I feel like in my heart I have to do this. And I either need you to train me or need you to not train me. My dad rose to the occasion.
I played for University of Miami, played great teams. Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis, were my teammates. They were balling. Warren Sapp was playing tight end at that time. I was starting defensive tackle. Yeah. They moved him over to D-line. And he looked at me and was like, yo, dude, I'm gonna take your spot. I said, you ain't taking my spot. He said, I'm gonna take your spot. We battled, and he took my spot. You can imagine how that, because there goes my opportunity. He went in, switched to defensive tackle, lit the world on fire. But what that did, it crushed me, it crushed my dreams. I had a piss poor senior year, zero production, no NFL, no combine invite, nothing. Finally went to the CFL, Calgary Stampeders, making $250 a week Canadian. I had to send that home to my wife at that time. And no money. So I remember that. I got cut from Canada. I had $7 in my pocket. And I always tell that story. So now my production company is $7, advertising agency is $7, everything is $7. So I always remember that. What helps me is to keep the hard times in the front of my mind. This allows me to go into these big moments that I've worked my ass off, and you guys have worked your ass off. It allows me to go into these big moments with a different perspective. What it also does for me, and again, this is what works for me. Like, I keep my back, excuse my language, my back is against this motherfucker. Every day, it's against this but it's up against this motherfucker because it's what I believe in. And when my back is against this motherfucker, then there's nowhere to go. But that way. That's it. So I feel like this could be something, an ideology mindset that could help you. Could. If you look at it that way. Because you made it already. We made it. We're successful boys, and we're lucky boys to be where we're at. Well, you guys made it. Everybody's rich in the room. Everybody's gonna get it.
Where are you? Where is our leader? Where are you? Where is our leader at this time? This time when our country is down on its knees, begging, pleading, hurt, angry, frustrated, in pain, begging and pleading with its arms out, just wanting to be heard, begging and pleading and praying for change. Where are you? Where is our compassionate leader who's going to step up to our country, who's down on its knees and extend a hand and say, you stand up. Stand up with me. Stand up with me because I got you. I got you. I got you. I hear you. I'm listening to you. And you have my word that I'm going to do everything in my power and until my dying day, my last breath, to do everything I can to create the change that is needed to normalize equality because Black lives matter. I found that with depression, one of the most important things you could realize is that you're not alone. You're not the first to go through it. You're not going to be the last to go through it. And oftentimes it happens. You feel like you're alone and you feel like it's only you and you're in your bubble. And I wish I had someone at that time who could just pull me aside and, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So I wish I knew that. Just gotta remember. Hold on to that fundamental quality of faith. Have faith. And on the other side of your pain is something good.